Trindamir, aka Mark Merrill, who's the co-founder of Riot Games and really led the Riot MMO project for a long time, came out with this tweet on March 20th, and it's at 4.9 million views, so needless to say, it's got some traction. But he starts with, "Hey all, we know many of you are hungry for news about the Riot Games MMO project. We really appreciate your patience and incredible support you've shown to us so far. I'm writing to update you today on where we're at, and before anyone panics, yes, we are still working on the game. Hashtag League of Legends." So right off the bat, they're still working on the game, which is good news at that
that's
point.
good news. Yeah, we'll take that, absolutely. I consider that a win, because, man, if we gotten very little information from the very first, Twitter tease that he gave us up to now. So it's always very hard to tell if things are rocky or if everything's going smooth and great. Especially for an MMO, it's going to be years of development. We're never going to really be able to tell until way later. So it's good to know that, yes, they are working on this. It's coming along. This game will come out.
Yep. And I will say this, the only thing that made me panic is when he said, "before anyone panics." I was like, so,
yeah.
should we be panicking already? All he said
is
was
there
that
a
we're
reason?
Yeah. We will find out why he said don't panic.
Yeah.
But the tweet goes on to say, "After a lot of reflection and discussion, we've decided to reset the direction of the project some time ago. This decision wasn't easy, but it was necessary. The initial vision just wasn't different enough from what you can play today." Now this is a big portion, so I'm just going to stop there. What do you think about that line so far?
Right off the bat, I am like 99.9% certain they're talking about World of Warcraft. Right?
Yes.
I think any MMO today that is mimicking another MMO, it's mimicking World of Warcraft. Like, you don't see many MMOs today that are copying Guild Wars 2 or RuneScape.
No.
You know? They're copying the formula that is tried and true, the formula that gave Final Fantasy XIV the success it has now. They're copying World of Warcraft. And honestly, off of that part alone in the tweet, I'm already like, I'm both really happy and really nervous, right? Because like one part of me, like I even said before, that I don't want this gonna be World of Warcraft. If I want to play World of Warcraft, I can go play World of Warcraft. That game's still live, it's come out with new content. There's no reason to make another World of Warcraft when that game's already live and ongoing still. But there's so many things I love about World of Warcraft, that so many like little things or even like deep core mechanics that I want to see in every MMO, because I think it works. You know, like we've already talked about the Holy Trinity to hell and back on this here podcast. The tank healer DPS specs are something I much prefer over the way Guild Wars 2 does their roles, which are like non-existent. So there's little things like that here and there where I'm like, I hope, like, I hope they weren't disappointed with, them having roles and things like that, or even like professions like we're going to talk about later, which are like, definitely World of Warcraft inspired in our minds. So that, like I said, it leaves a lot of potential for sure. I'm glad they're not one-to-one copying World of Warcraft. You can already like tell off of that tweet, assuming they're copying World of Warcraft, which I think they are. But who knows where they're going to take the MMO from here now, just off of that one sentence.
Trindamir was playing Classic, so I assume that he was maybe getting influenced a little bit by the Classic gameplay. And I do think that there's some things that should not be changed just to be changed. Like, they shouldn't be different just to be different. Even World of Warcraft was not different to be different. What it took, what was it, Guild Wars was the game before that World of Warcraft
EverQuest.
EverQuest.
Yeah, it was basically EverQuest on easy mode.
Yes. It took EverQuest, made it on easy mode, and it made a lot of improvements. And I don't think
it had a lot of quality of life, made it very accessible to new people. It's what made the MMO genre mainstream for a while, from like Vanilla WoW to Wrath of the Lich King, right? Because it was accessible, because they changed up the formula just enough. It was perfect.
Exactly. And it goes on from that. Like, what is League of Legends based on?
Dota 2, which is a mod of Warcraft 3.
But what did League of Legends do? They gave it their own flair, their own flash to it, and they made some changes to the game. But it was still the game. Like, I still want to feel that MMO. The one thing that will kill me is if they try to make it so different from World of Warcraft that it's like all almost
Yeah, that we get a
Warframe.
freaking like we don't want a new world scenario.
Yes, no, exactly.
Where they take it too far to a point where I don't even recognize it as an MMO anymore. There are some MMO tropes that just work, man. That I just
Yep.
like. They're the reason why I play an MMO. So
Maybe they
it's-
felt like
yeah.
they were too on the nose. Like they were really.
That's
like
what
it
I'm
was.
thinking.
It literally felt like if you're playing it and it felt like World of Warcraft, that would be bad. Like if someone was playing it and they're like, wait, this literally feels like World of Warcraft exactly. But it's just Runeterra, and like they had the spell bar, and like you're gonna have to do some things different. But at the same time, if some things do feel like World of Warcraft, that's okay because World of Warcraft is still pretty great.
Oh, it's still an amazing MMO. I mean, I still think it's the best MMO out there right now, by far, in my opinion. There's some things that they really nailed with World of Warcraft that defined the MMO genre because it was so just like well crafted mechanically, and just it's an MMO where all MMOs before World of Warcraft were very high bar, very difficult to get into because they were so like systematic and complex. World of Warcraft took everything that was good about MMOs before it and just made it easy to digest. And they brought it into such a simple, perfect form where they cut out all the fat of MMOs. And then you just got this lean, amazing experience. So like the things that they did with Vanilla WoW in terms of their professions, which they dumbed down a lot compared to other MMOs, in terms of skill trees, like we said, like the dungeons, like instance content. Like there are some things I still would just love to see in every MMO because it works and I have fun every time I experience it. Yeah, like I mean, like skill trees, they can obviously mix up skill trees, right? There's a lot of different ways you can go with that, a lot of different nuances you can mess around with.
But it still needs to be there. Like there still needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. But I still want like my skills where I can, where like you're locked into a class, but you have some creative freedom inside of your class. That's what skills are. So like stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, I want that in the Riot MMO because it works. I still have my class fantasy and I get to be unique. It's best of both worlds.
That's one thing that I'm worried about though, too, is the classes. Like classes is the mainstay of World of Warcraft. But like they could say, okay, we want to go a classless system. Okay, but then you're just going into Final Fantasy territory.
Yeah, I mean, luckily even Final Fantasy 14 has its like barriers between the classes. You know, like you can't be a warrior in Final Fantasy 14 and start healing. Like you have to switch to your healer class.
But I wouldn't like that.
Even then, yeah, I still prefer World of Warcraft's way. Yeah. I still prefer when it's like your character is this class, right? Your character is a warlock. All right, you can't switch to a paladin if you're a warlock. But yeah, my biggest fear is that they go the complete opposite way.
There's whole communities around them. There's whole Discord servers just around a specific class.
Dude. Yeah, that just adds so much more like social identity, right? Like you are your character and you're that warrior. All other warriors now relate to you more than any other class.
Yeah.
Fellow warrior players. Like, yeah, dude, little stuff like that, which is why, yeah, I agree. I'd be very scared if they went the complete opposite direction, and start going into like, oh, everyone starts off the same and you build your character how you want, right? That's my biggest fear. That's what I hope they never do. Because then that just leads to like, there's such thing as too much freedom to a point where it just restricts the players into all going down the same path, right?
That would happen.
Yeah, I'm going to look up the optimal healer build if I want to play a healer. I'm going to run that build. There's stuff like that that really like becomes problematic. And that much freedom to a point where I don't even really enjoy it because I don't have any identity at that point, Like, I could build my character any way I want, but then what is my character?
Because your decisions don't matter anymore. When you have too much freedom, your decisions don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good way of putting it. So,
when you can be every profession, you don't have to specialize in a skill. Then when you don't have to specialize in a skill and you can be every profession, then no one matters because everyone's a blacksmith. I don't need a blacksmith. Dude. Everyone's an herbalist. I don't need a guy going around picking flowers because I can do
it. Yeah, exactly. Like your character has certain qualities to them that they possess. That like that's them. They're an alchemist, then that's it, dude. Some people aren't alchemists, and that makes people who are alchemists all the more special. People
Yeah.
that aren't alchemists are something else, and that makes them special. Like I really like that. So yeah, there are certain things that just World of Warcraft really nailed. And yeah, the class identity and like profession identity even, that definitely was one thing that I want to see in the Riot MMO for sure. So it's like, dude, yeah, we'll see what they keep and what they don't. This is obviously all
Holy
assuming that they're
Trinity.
copying World of Warcraft. I
Holy,
just think
holy.
they are. Holy
needs to
Trinity.
stay. Needs to stay.
Holy Trinity has to stay, dude. It's just, it's the ultimate like fantasy way of making people rely on each other in combat, right? And combat's obviously like as much as we're talking about the skills and professions and everything, it's all going to revolve around combat. The professions lead to the combat, the skills lead to the combat, everything leads to the combat, which is why the combat also needs a social aspect. And that's where roles come in. That's where the Holy Trinity comes in. You need other people to cooperate, to communicate, to make the magic happen in that dungeon where you're fighting that big bad. Like, dude, yeah, World of Warcraft really was revolutionary. Like, this stuff, obviously, all this stuff existed before World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft just kind of perfected it. They just made it nice and simple and just fun. And I want to see that in the Riot MMO. But I'm still, like I said, that still leaves a lot of potential, and I'm definitely glad that they're not making it just World of Warcraft. You know, there's that balance that they gotta strike, for sure. So if what he's saying is like really true, that like they really were just gonna make this game World of Warcraft with Runeterra code of paint, based on our assumption, then I'm glad that he made the decision that he did. That we'll get into later in the tweet.
Yeah, and even this, like the rest of this portion of the tweet, really doesn't extend past this specific topic, but I wanted to stop there and just like get all our points in. But he does go on to say in that, it's huge. But in that section, he says, "We don't believe you will all want an MMO that you've played before with a Runeterra coat of paint. To truly do justice to the potential of Runeterra and to meet the incredibly high expectations of players around the world, we need to do something that truly feels like a significant evolution of the genre. This is a huge challenge, but one our team of deeply passionate MMO players and game development veterans is incredibly motivated to pursue." Now, he does say evolution in the genre. I mean, that means something's evolving. And when something evolves, you know, when a Pokemon evolves, it's still that same Pokemon. It still looks the same.
True.
Right? Its abilities just got like, Charizard's not going from breathing fire to breathing water. Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope
that's
that,
a very
like,
good point.
That's
there
even more.
There is still some Charmeleon in there. Yeah.
Exactly. We skip over Charmeleon really. Oh no, what is it? Yeah, we skip over Charmeleon really quick. He's the middle one. He's alright.
Yeah, he's the awkward like pubescent phase.
Yeah, we throw stones at Charmander to get him up to a Charizard. That's what we do. Just throw him a couple rocks.
Fair enough. So there's still some Charmander in there in that Charizard.
Yeah. Might not be any Charmeleon.
Non-existent.
But yeah,
either a child or an adult.
That's what I think. Like that's what I hope. You know, I hope it's an evolution in the genre and not just let's be different to be different.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Actually, they honestly don't. There are some key parts that they do need to change if they want to stand out, but they don't need to change everything to stand out to be their own MMO. Right?
Exactly.
Just
World of Warcraft would not be confused with EverQuest, despite it being based on it in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially when it first came out, right? Like, the EverQuest fans were absolutely just like trashing World of Warcraft for being just an easier EverQuest, but it brought in the players, dude, because they were different in all the right ways. Like, at the end of the day, World of Warcraft wasn't EverQuest. It appealed to a different audience than EverQuest. It appealed to a larger audience at that. So, and it's because it made the right changes. And I hope that's what they mean, that they're going from here on out to make the right changes, to evolve the MMO genre to fit the modern day, because that's what World of Warcraft did. It fit the modern time that it was in, and it worked out amazing for it.
The difficult thing that would very much make the Riot MMO different than any other game I've ever played in my life would be free to play without pay to win. And by the way, pay to win in MMO, in my opinion, also includes being like cosmetic. I feel like
agree.
that's pay to win as well. And I really think I said it before. I think a battle pass is a great way to go because then it's just pay and you can get a couple of these cosmetics, but you still have to earn them via in-game actions. So it's not just I'm buying this skin to show off. So,
Yeah,
my
dude.
solution.
Honestly, like, I think of Trader's Post on World of Warcraft.
Yeah, Trader's
If you
Post
remove
was
the fact
good.
that you can buy
I
the
think it's
tokens.
got gutted
Yeah.
at this point, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
it's-
like, I mean, they're still doing it, but now you can buy the tokens, which completely destroys the whole purpose
Just put a
of it.
store in the game. That's all it
Yeah, it's just a store. It's just a store with a premium currency now. But before that, what it was a store of really cool cosmetics with a special currency that you only get from getting achievements in the
Yep.
game, and you know, like playing the game frequently enough in general, just hopping on. So not only did it encourage people to hop onto the game in the first place, but it encouraged people to go for the achievements that you normally wouldn't care to, because they wouldn't offer any kind of like big cosmetic or title or anything. They would just be like a normal achievement. Now those normal achievements have purpose, and they put you out in the world and give you things to do. That I think was amazing. If they put that in a battle pass form,
See?
that would be phenomenal. Like
See?
new achievements
Yes.
for the Freljord saga. You know, there's all new achievements that come out, and if you buy the battle pass, those achievements will give you currency that you can spend on like the special shop for like the Freljord saga. That would be sick.
I like how you keep calling it a saga as well. Very good. Yes, saga.
I honestly have to like catch myself because I'm like, I like the saga idea so much.
Yeah.